September 7th, 2017. Welcome to the Philly Podcast. And today, well, since I was last on Tuesday, they announced the whole outcome of Ezekiel Elliott. We all know that he will be playing week 1, but after that, he is going to be gone for 6 games, which is going to be a big loss for the Cowboys. And in a way, I mean, the NFL is. I think the NFL is trying to help this team out a little bit. Here's why. The Cowboys play the Giants week 1. The Giants don't. All right, so put this into consideration. The Giants don't have an real good offensive line. We all know how Eli Manning is. Whenever he gets an ounce of pressure, he'll give up. He'll surrender. They're not going to, as it looks right now, Beckham probably won't play. But no. So the NFL, no buts, I'm sorry. So the NFL is going to let Zeke play that week against the team that they have had a lot of issues against the last 3 times they played them. The team that the team that took 2 of Dallas's 4 losses, including the playoff game, and a team that has the Cowboys number in the last 3 times they played them. So so they're looking at the offensive side of the ball. What offense will outmatch that and the other offense? But the Giants' defense is very good rushing defense. I mean, they have Damon Harrison in there, so who's probably one of the best run stoppers in the league. So, also, I think that the NFL will lose money too if Zeke hadn't played. I mean, Zeke is in the top 5 jersey sales. He is in the top 5, definitely the top 10, but top 5 in jersey sales along with his buddy Prescott. So they're going to have play one week against a primetime game. I mean, they're just going to lose too much money. The Cowboys are the number 1, or probably the team with the most fans in the league because, they're all bandwagon. And, I mean, the Cowboys offense after that is going to have to rely on Dak Prescott throwing the football, Darren McFadden, who else? Alfred Morris in the backfield, who are pretty good running backs. I mean, they do only have like the top 2 offensive line. So yeah, I mean, so that's that. Kind of pissed off that they're going to let him play week 1, but I'm glad that he will serve a suspension. So, yeah. But I do believe that the NFL is helping out the Cowboys. I really do. We are 3 days away from Eagles football. 3 days away from I guess you can say, the first good Sunday of. Tonight is the opener, New England versus Kansas City. What do I think about that game? Well, New England's playing at home. They're playing Kansas City Chiefs. Had issues against the Steelers in the divisional round of the playoffs. They lost that game. I thought they would make it into the AFC Championship. I mean, they were just a good team. They have Tyreek Hill. They have Travis Kelce. I don't know who's their starting quarterback. I think it can't be Mahomes. It cannot be Mahomes. Jeez. I think they're gonna do what the Packers did, have Mahomes learn from Smith, like the Packers do with Favre and Rodgers. But they're gonna okay. Yeah, I mean, Yeah, it looks like it's going to be Smith starting that game. You know, I mean, that's the right choice. I mean, you want to grow the young quarterback, Mahomes, to be a very good quarterback, like what they did in Green Bay with Rodgers and Favre. So, um, Kansas City, I mean, they have a pretty good defense, but listen, you know, New England's at home. New England just came off a Super Bowl, like probably one of the greatest Super Bowls of all time. They have the best quarterback of all time. You can throw any receiver around them. You can throw any um, defense against them, maybe except for the Giants, because they do have Spagnuolo, and who is a guy that's beat him, I think, twice in the Super Bowl. But Tom Brady's the best of all time. Like I said, if you put any receiver around him, if you put any guy in the backfield around behind him, he will still be dominant. Here's Brandon Cooks. Who else? They just picked up Coates, I think. Sammy Coates. Picked up a guy from somebody somewhere. So Brandon Cooks, they don't have Edelman. They have Gronk, who would expect him to have a big game because he might be all mad. He might be ready to go out and play. Who else? They don't have Bennett anymore, so they don't have Bennett. They don't have Blunt. That's right. This year they won't have Edelman. So you had two guys going for a trade. So yeah, they're not gonna. I mean, the Patriots, talent-wise, are not the team as they were last year around Brady. But the key to the Patriots' success is Brady and Belichick. Tom Brady Tom Brady is very, very good. Very good. And, I seriously, I mean, the Patriots are going to do it tonight. I have them for the win. We'll go with the score a little bit later. But, I mean, I just hate it when people try and argue that Brady's not the best quarterback of all time, which he is. The guy has 5 rings. I don't really give a shit whether he's cheated, whether his coach has cheated. He's the best quarterback of all time. I don't even know, and to be honest with you, I don't even know why they even cheated. Because they are good. Brady's smart. Brady's a smart player. Belichick's a smart coach. Belichick was a defensive coordinator for Parcells when the Giants won their first Super Bowl. He learned a lot from Parcells. Giants had a great defense back then. I think they had LT, Lawrence Taylor. They had a bunch of guys. They had a bunch of very good players. I'm not that much of a Giants historian. I don't really want to be, but they are. It's just you have a coach that's been in the game for a while. You have a quarterback who knows what the hell he's doing. He has 5 rings now. 5 rings. And I wouldn't be surprised if they go ahead and do it again. I really wouldn't. I don't give a shit how good their defense is. I don't give a shit how good the receivers is. It's Brady, Belichick. That's the key of the Patriots' success this season. So that's who I have. I mean, Andy Reid, the Chiefs are a very good football team, but they are going to do it. They are not going to get it done tonight. They're not going into that place. That place is going to be rowdy. Gillette Stadium's going to be nuts because, I think they're doing the rings and all that. So I got New England tonight. I mean, no one. I don't think any team tonight. I don't think any team tonight can go into New England and beat that team. I really don't. And if I came to you guys tomorrow, if the Chiefs won, that's going to be very, very awkward. It's going to be very, very awkward. So, that's tonight, 8 o'clock, I think. 8 o'clock, I believe, on NBC, the first football game of the season, the first NFL game that will take place this season. And obviously got some more to come Sunday. Plus, two teams will not be playing this week, and we all know the whole deal with the Hurricane Irma game with the Bucks and the Dolphins. I mean, that sucks that, I really think they should play it somewhere else. I mean, you have the link, you have you have Cleveland, you have there's just so many places where you can play that football game. So many places. If it were me, if I were the NFL, I'd probably, in order to save your Week 11 bye and not go 16 straight weeks of playing football, which is going to be terrible. If you're a player on both these teams, to go 16 straight weeks without rest, it's just going to be crazy. It's going to be nuts. And I really see how it's going to be a difficult decision, or how it's going to be difficult for both these teams to try and make it to the playoffs. Maybe the Dolphins could probably get it done. Maybe the Bucks. I don't know. You never know how the NFC South is going to shake out, and you never know. We all know how the Dolphins division is going to shake out. It's New England, but I really think they should really relocated that game instead of just calling it. It's going to be grueling if you're a player. It's going to be really grueling. It's going to be grueling to go 16 straight weeks without rest. So, and it's killer for fantasy owners too. You don't have your players for both those teams. So, you have some very good players. You have some very good players on both those teams. You have Ajayi on Tampa Bay. You have Evans, Jarvis Landry, maybe Deshaun Jackson, Winston, whoever it may be. It just sucks because you're probably going to have to take that loss this week. You're probably going to have to take that loss because you have some very, very good players on both those teams. So after a 12.5-minute spiel on anything else but the Eagles in football, we're going to bring up the Eagles. So, yeah, we are 3 days away. 3 days away from the game in Washington. The more it gets closer, the more the weekend approaches, the more nervous I get, the more shaky I am, the more, crazy it gets. And I tell you what, I don't think the Redskins are going to be much this year. I don't think, the Eagles can be a very good team. They're projected, I see some stuff either ranking them the NFC East champion, a second place team, or the last place team, which I really don't see. There's too much talent on this football team to be a last place team in the NFC East. I think we have a better defense than the Cowboys. We have a better defense than the Redskins. We don't have the better defense against the Giants. And then you look at the offense side of the ball. Cowboys have probably have better. Cowboys have the offensive line, Dak and Zeke. The Giants have, Beckham, Marshall. They don't really have an offensive line. They have the receivers. The Redskins have Cousins. The line is mediocre. They have a couple good receivers. Then you look at the Eagles. The line's supposed to be good. You're supposed to have a rough and tough running back. You're supposed to have a couple good receivers. And the quarterback. But, I don't see us, in a way, I really don't see us I don't see us being a last place team. I see us being a top 3 team in the NFC East. I don't think that I think that the Giants are probably a better team. But I see us being better than the Redskins. I see us being better than the Cowboys. We can probably lock up a second place spot. We could probably finish with 10 wins or more. It'll be very disappointing if you see this team go 8-8 or below. I think it'd be probably a very disappointing time. And, you know, as much as I think this team will do well, we're playing a tough game this week. We're playing a tough game. And I know we're playing a team that, we're probably better than in the division. But this is just a place where we haven't won. Now, I think we'll probably win our second game against the Redskins. But, we will see. I mean, it's going to be an nail-biter. It's going to come down to quarterback play. Like I said on Tuesday. It's going to come down to quarterback play. Now, you go into next week, it's going to be even more tougher. Because if the way things go tonight, I think they will. If things go the way I think they will, Kansas City will be coming off a loss. They'll be coming home. That place will be crazy, like it usually is, and how it's a very tough place to play. The Eagles are going to play another tough game. Now they come back home and play the Giants, which we all know how they've been against the Giants at home lately. I mean, that's going to be – I'm not saying that's going to be an easy game, but that's going to be a game where we can regroup. If it's the case that we lose the first two games, which I hope we don't. I hope we steal at least one of these two games. I hope we steal the one on come Sunday afternoon. I really do. I hope we take that game from the Redskins. I think we can. I think we can do it. I really do. I think we can beat this Redskins team. We have the ability to. I know we have the ability to beat the Redskins. I think we can beat the Redskins. But will we? That's just the big thing. Will we beat the Redskins? It's a tough game. It is a tough game. But when they come here to play the Monday night game, I don't see the Redskins winning it. I really don't. The Eagles only lost 2 games at home this last year. That's another big question going in here. How will the Eagles fare at home and on the road? We were dirt bad on the road, only winning 1 game, and that was against the Bears. There was a bunch of games we could have won, but that's something I'm pretty interested in. How good are we at home, and how good are we on the road? How are we going to be? Playing at home, playing on the road. And I'll tell you this, if they end up beating the Redskins Sunday, they're going to have an advantage. They're going to have an advantage because you beat a divisional team in your very first game on the road. That's a pretty big advantage. That's a pretty big advantage. And it gives you momentum going in the next week. And you're going to play a tough game the next week in a tough place against a good team. So, yeah. What do we got? What do we got with the Eagles? I really haven't got any news about the Eagles. Everyone seems to be ready. Everyone seems to be locked in. Malcolm Jenkins. Malcolm Jenkins says he will raise his fist all season for reform, not protest. Okay, Malcolm Jenkins. Malcolm Jenkins. Come on. With this whole thing with people doing the stuff for the anthem, all the Cleveland Browns players, all this stuff. It's just, I've said it repeatedly. It's stupid. Colin Kaepernick started it just so he won't get cut. He's not a good player. He was only good with Harbaugh. That's about it. And Brandon Graham says Redskins quarterback Kirk Cousins can see a new Eagles defense. Tell you what, I think our pass rush is pretty good. I think our front seven is very good. I think our front seven is very good. I just want to see how the corners will play. I mean, Darby Mills. I just want to see how they'll play. And then a lot of people, I see a lot of people picking the Cowboys or the Eagles over the Cowboys this year. Carson Wentz over Dak Prescott. Maybe people are coming to realize, man, maybe Carson Wentz is the better overall player, which he is. I mean, listen, Dak Prescott has size. He has the offensive line. He has Zeke in the backfield. He could do whatever the hell he wants. But if you put him in Carson Wentz's shoes, he will not succeed. He will not succeed. And Carson Wentz, I think, is a much better player. He is just a much better overall player than Dak Prescott. He can play with, I think that Carson Wentz can play well with any offensive line. He will throw his picks. I mean, we've only seen him 1 year, but from what I noticed, he threw a few picks. I mean, it's your rookie year. But yet, you play in a lot of close football games. You keep it a game. Only one game, I think, 2 games. I think Carson Wentz, played bad was the Bengals and the Colts. Or no, the Bengals and the Seahawks. That's about it. I mean, you got to take this into consideration. Carson Wentz did not have weapons. Carson Wentz did not really have much of a good defense. The defense had no corner, no secondary. So, in the way he prepares, I think Carson Wentz has a work ethic. I mean, many people saw what he does. He wakes up very early in the morning. He gets to the NovaCare complex. He's there practicing, looking at film, researching, doing all this stuff. He's there till 6:30. Dak Prescott is going to probably go home, have a beer, and do something. But Carson Wentz has a work ethic. He's a work ethic. I think he's a much better player. I think he is a much better football player. And I think he's a leader. I think he's a great leader on this team. Now, I think me, like any other people this year, is going to put the microscope on him. Because, listen, Carson Wentz, I'm going to put my microscope on him and Doug Peterson this year. They are both in their second years, okay? You saw what they did in the first year. I mean, if you see improvement this year, I think, in both Carson Wentz, because, there should be improvement. I think the offensive line is supposed to be there all this year. I mean, I know they weren't in preseason, but everyone better be in the normal spot. He has weapons now. I mean, he has a good deep threat in Torrey Smith. He has Alshon Jeffrey. Hopefully, Matt Collins ends up playing over Aguilar. I know Aguilar, he's only, he doesn't really prove me that, he's good in the slot. And, maybe, if, maybe Aguilar maybe drop a few passes, then boom. And boom, you give the job to Matt Collins. But, Matt Collins has really been impressed me in the preseason. So you have that. The line's supposed to be there. I mean, you're supposed to have Peters for all 16 games. You're supposed to have Brooks for all 16 games. You're supposed to have Kelsey all 16 games. You're supposed to have, who else? Vaitai, Longley, Johnson, any other player in the offensive line for 16 games this year. 16 games. Hopefully no one gets hurt. Hopefully no one gets suspended. Then we'll look good. I mean, if they don't play like they did in the preseason, we're going to have a fun year. Create holes for Blunt and Sproles and Smollett to run the football, and boom. So, if you see improvement with the coach and his play calls, which are, even the preseason, and this year in the preseason, it got me a little worried. If you see improvement there, as well as improvement with the quarterback, which I think we will. I mean, I think Carson Wentz's long days and work ethic can really get him somewhere. And his with his chemistry with all the receivers and every other player in the offense, as well as the team. I mean, I think they're here to stay. I mean, the second year can be a make or break year. Can lead to a make or break situation. It's not necessarily a make or break year, but it leads to a make or break situation. I mean, look with Chip Kelly. His second year, he had a very good. I mean, they did it very well, but they ended up choking. It wasn't because Mark Sanchez played, because Mark Sanchez played. Mark Sanchez, he had a few, he had a few good wins. I mean, he had a few good wins, and I think he could have probably took us to the playoffs that year. They didn't. Chip Kelly didn't, and Mark Sanchez didn't. That led to a make or break season 2015. And then, Chip Kelly put more shit in the stew by trading away McCoy, Foles, and all that. And that, lovely offseason, which led to a 7-9 season, missed the playoffs again, leads to the firing of Chip Kelly. This year can lead to a make or break season for either Carson Wentz or Doug Peterson. That begins Sunday. That begins Sunday.
What do you guys think about that? Is that take hot enough for you? It's a hot take. It's a wrong take. It's not gonna happen.
Geez, Mike Lombardi's getting a lot of heat for saying that thing about Doug Peterson. Now you got Brian Billick there. You got a bunch of people. Oh my God, people are giving a bunch of shit. I mean, the fact that he said he was unqualified or something like that. I mean, it's just kind of stupid. It's kind of stupid. I mean, Michael Lombardi. I mean, like I said, if this all works out, the Eagles make it to the playoffs this year, maybe even win a playoff game. Maybe next year they'll probably compete for a Super Bowl if that's the case. And if they do produce and win that Super Bowl, keyword if, Mike Lombardi will be eating his words. He will be eating his words. That guy would feel so much like shit. It wouldn't be. You would not believe it. He'd be like Craig Carton right now, planning on moving to Costa Rica, changing his name. How about that, Craig Carton? I watch that guy every morning with Boomer Esiason. It's a good show. I mean, they're pretty good. Craig Carton, he's a loudmouth. He's kind of funny some points. How about that? The guy got arrested for spams, and he was involved with other third parties, which we all know is the mob. Especially, I mean, if you're involved with third parties in New York, I mean, it's the mob, which he was a radio host in. But back to this whole Lombardi thing. I mean, hopefully we'll see him eat his words in the next couple of years, and he eats some crow. I mean, seriously, that's just not good. That is just it's just awful. I mean, why can't they just go make fun of some other coach? Like, seriously, make fun of some other coach. If Doug Peterson ends up being an ass, then boom. Boom. Fire away. All right, so tomorrow we will be making a college football picks. Top 25. Big games. Clemson, Auburn, Ohio State, Oklahoma, USC, Stanford, my Notre Dame Fighting Irish, and the Georgia Bulldogs. So 4 big games. 4 big college football games in the top 25 this week. Preview that tomorrow afternoon, I should say. Trying to think. What else? All right, so that whole Phillies thing last night. I mean, they tried to play the Mets last night, but that didn't really work out. 3-6 loss against New York, but however, Nick Williams did it hit a 2-run home run. And I'll tell you this. Nick Pivetta is just so inconsistent. He's so inconsistent. And I think if he can be a consistent pitcher, I think he can probably be someone to look forward with. Someone to rally around. I mean, seriously. Same thing with Velasquez. I mean, I think Velasquez would probably find himself a better fit in the bullpen because he aims for strikeouts. His pitch count gets. I mean, he's good. I mean, I think he'll be a good, seventh-man closer. Seriously, seventh-man closer for Vince Velasquez. But at the same time, I still think he could probably be a pretty good starter. I mean, he just needs to learn how to stay healthy and how to maintain the pitch count. So, I mean, I think if I'm McClure or McCannon, I'd probably say, you know what, listen. Or, whoever makes that decision, say, listen, would you rather want to pitch in the pen or would you rather want to go in the rotation? You want to go in the pen? Sure. We'll give you a spot. Do you want to stay in the rotation? Here's what you have to do. You're going to have to, just list those things I just said. Maintaining the pitch count and staying healthy. Which, I mean, you're going to have to do if you go in the bullpen. But I don't think he'll have that many issues in the bullpen with not staying healthy. So. All right. Reached the half hour, which I've been trying to reach. So, yeah. So tomorrow is the top 25 college football picks. Saturday night will be the debut of the NFL Sunday Eve, wrapping up some college stuff, going in the pros. That'll be late after all the primetime games have ended, and we'll be talking. I mean, it'll only be for it won't be that long. It'll probably be like a 15-minute type thing. We'll just be talking about some of the college games. I'll just be saying about some of the stuff that impressed me from that day, and I'll make my NFL picks. Now, for tonight's game in New England, who I think will win New England? The score, I say 34-23. Patriots. 34-23, and I think they open up as an 8-point favorite. So, yep, for all you bettors who end up coming across this podcast. So, yeah. All right. So, thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 4 o'clock, as we talk about college football. Football Friday. Talk about the Eagles. I'll try and get as much as I can in my input. I'll make my Eagles pick tomorrow. And then on the NFL Sunday Eve, I will make my rest of the NFL picks. So, yeah. So, thanks for tuning in, and have a good one.